All right, let's get right into it. Today, I want you to imagine we're scholars of ancient lore, and we're decoding these incredible runes that tell a story of a massive metaphysical conflict. This is a war of ideas, really, and it's being waged in the pitch-black theater of the deep sea. We're going to focus on two figures, a mysterious sorceress and the sovereign king she came to challenge.
And this is really where the story kicks off. The runes tell us about a new variable, Salome, who steps onto this dark stage. Now, she's not just another character. She arrives as what the texts call a necessary spiritual counterweight. Her entire purpose is to fundamentally shift the cosmic balance. Her very presence is a signal that the old rules are about to break.
And this brings us to the core question of the whole parable, doesn't it? In an abyss that's governed by cold, hard, absolute logic, a place where a single will dictates reality, what power can one person, one single soul, really have? That's the struggle we're diving into, the spirit versus the sovereign. Okay, so first, let's get a handle on the battlefield itself. The runes call it the lightless theater. This is the twofold Atlantis, a realm that isn't defined by life or vibrancy, but by a sterile, binary deadlock. It's a kingdom of absolute logic, stuck between simple existence and total nothingness. There is no gray area here. And who's in charge of this silent kingdom? King Glaucus. The runes describe him as a hyper-cerebral architect. His mind, his logic, that is the structure of this reality. It's a pretty bleak situation, where his will just smothers everything in this suffocating quiet, boiling all of existence down to a simple on or off switch. So, to really get it, you have to understand the source of his power. It's a philosophy called the absolute I. In his mind, he's the beginning and the end, the only reason anything exists in his realm. This isn't a power that was given to him or that he shares. He achieved it through pure, isolated intellect. It's a kind of godhood built on a solitary, massive ego. But then, just when it seems like his system is perfect and unbreakable, the texts describe this cataclysmic shift. A new divine variable enters this perfectly ordered, silent world, the sorceress. And she's a catalyst who shows up specifically to shatter that deadlock. Now check out how the runes frame her purpose. She represents the divine feminine, which is a concept totally alien to the king's world. She's the terrestrial yes, a powerful affirmation of life, of potential, of connection. Her goal isn't just to fight, it's to introduce a complex, multi-layered reality into this sterile, binary abyss. And how does she pull this off? With something called Logos magic. This is her weapon of choice, channeled through her emerald staff. It's described as a secondary assertion of reality. Just think about that for a second. It's a direct challenge to the king's claim to be the only source of being. Her magic creates a frequency of hope that literally begins to fracture his absolute sovereignty. But here's the thing, she doesn't do it alone. The lore describes this huge central mythological event, the Leviathan's sacred bond. This is a sacred alliance that forges an entirely new kind of power. You could call it an alliance of restorative light. She forms this symbiotic bond with the ancient emerald-scaled Leviathan. And this part is so brilliant because it shows the difference in her entire philosophy. This isn't a master commanding a beast. No, the runes are super specific. It's a transformative energy transfer. It's mutual. It's a healing event that bridges the king's cold material logic with the deep, chaotic malice of the abyss. And this contrast just makes the philosophical difference crystal clear. Her restorative alliance is the complete opposite of the parasitic origin of another major player down there, the captain. He was born from runoff energy, literally draining the world. Salome's bond is the reverse, a symbiotic transformation that's all about healing and restoring the world's essence. Now, this alliance gives them some incredible perks. The Leviathan acts as a spiritual ballast, basically giving her the metaphysical weight she needs to withstand the crushing pressure of the underworld. This lets her navigate the very molecular bonds of reality without setting off the king's electrical traps. And, maybe most importantly, their shared divinity creates a brand new power frequency, one that exists completely outside the king's control. So the runes are drawing this really sharp line in the sand, which leads us right into our next section, two paths to power. On one side, you have the collaborative not I of the sorceress, and on the other, the solitary absolute I of the king. And this table just lays it out perfectly. The king's power, it comes from isolation. Salome's, it's all about connection. He is the absolute I. She embodies the collaborative not I. His goal is to be the architect of a silent world. Her goal is to be a soul bearer for a decaying one. What the runes are showing us here is that sovereignty doesn't have to be a lonely act of will. It can be collaborative.
Her methods are a direct counter to his. While the king wields thunder, Salome uses heavenly runes of divine wind. She's not just fighting him, she's rewriting the very alphabet of reality. She's reintroducing moisture, life itself, to fight back against the sterile drought within the deep, which is basically the end state her enemies want for this world.
Now you can't just shine a light this bright into total darkness and expect no one to notice. Her very existence, this new frequency of hope, it forces a reaction from the old guard, the established powers of the void.
And their reactions tell you everything you need to know about them. The king, in his pure arrogance, just dismisses her as a sandcastle obstacle. The parasitic captain, well, he just sees a font of thieving potential. And then there's the Mephistophelian shadow, the ultimate force of nothingness, who sees her light as a shimmering stain of existence that just needs to be wiped clean. This is all governed by a principle that texts call the law of reciprocal assertion. It's kind of like a law of physics for this reality. Put simply, her restorative light creates friction. The more she shines, the more the darkness is forced to react, to define itself against her. So in a weird way, her hope actually makes the darkness it opposes even more intense. And that brings us to the nature of this final conflict, what the runes call the final, shimmering witness. See, the ancient texts don't talk about a clean victory. They describe an enduring, necessary struggle against the slow, inevitable decay of entropy.
And this is absolutely crucial to understand. Her purpose isn't to win in the way we usually think about it. Her progress is described as a temporary stay of execution. She's there to make sure that total silence, total entropy, can't just claim the deep without putting up a fight. She is the struggle.
And this quote just sums up her impact perfectly. Even if she can't win forever, the light from her alliance with the Leviathan stands as the final witness. It's an unyielding testament to a reality that simply refuses to give up, to be dried up and erased by cold, sovereign logic.
Which leaves us with the final, haunting question that the runes themselves pose. Her fight is necessary, beautiful, and it seems like it will go on forever. But in the end, will she actually save the sea? Or will she just become its most beautiful grave? A final, defiant light before the void finally claims everything.